Hi, we're the Huge Movie Fanatics here, and we're doing a review of The Frighteners, which is Peter Jackson's movie from 95, 96?
96, yeah.
This was a movie, essentially, he wanted to make King Kong so badly, and he couldn't for whatever reason, so he made this. And this was supposed to be, this was by produced by Robert Zemeckis.
It was supposed to be what?
This was supposed to be the third in the trilogy of the Tales from the Crypt movies. But he thought it was so good, he was like, it doesn't need the Crypt Keeper, because the Crypt Keeper is supposed to come in the beginning and the end. He's like, this is so good it doesn't need the Crypt Keeper, this can sell on its own. So he took the Tales from the Crypt logo off, and they released the Frighteners as is, which I think it would have been a big detriment to have the Crypt Keeper been like, hey kitties, hi!
You remember the guy from Back to the Future?
Yeah, pretty much. They would have made a lot of bad puns that I think would have ruined the movie, because the movie's actually quite good. This is one that I really, really liked, and I did not expect to because it looked so hokey. When they were advertising it, I mean, the special effects actually aren't that bad or anything like that. It just looked like a hokey story of death coming, and it's sort of like the Ghostbusters thing. He has these ghosts that are going to fight back this evil ghost guy, and when you start saying it out loud, it sounds so bizarre and stupid, but it's actually a really good movie. Michael J. Fox is great, and the best thing about the movie is Jeffrey Combs is his name.
Oh, I just hope you get to it.
Whoa!
Let me interrupt you right now. Right, the Elite back in the Laserdisc days. I think it was Elite. They put out for the very first time the Laserdisc of Reanimator, and that was the first time, you know, that was the commentary, which I still regard as one of the best commentaries. Have you heard Reanimator commentary?
Yeah, I think I did.
With Crampton and Combs and stuff.
Yeah, I believe so.
One of the most entertaining commentaries that I've ever heard. And I was just so like Jeffrey Combs, like 95, 96, and I was just like, you know, I was like, I wanted to make movies, and I was like, if I ever make movies, I'd put them in it, like, I would put him in an A movie, put him in the theater. Why is he not in the theater? And then I saw the Frighteners, and it was like, Jeffrey fucking Combs is working with Michael J. Fox, and he steals the show.
He steals the show, absolutely. And that's a lot to steal from Michael J. Fox, who has such a great screen presence always.
I'm just so grateful to Peter Jackson for putting him in there. And it's just, I wish that he could have, like, continued to...
Well, I mean, the next A movie he was in was I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which was so bad, and he was so bad in it. And it's like, he can bring the talent. He has so much talent to give, because his character in this is just so subtle with his, like, freaking out and stuff like that. And when you see that he rips his shirt off and he's
I'm
like...
wearing a lead breastplate, is that what he said or something?
Yeah, and he's so great, and his delivery of... but what about I can't remember what he says. He's like...
I haven't seen it in forever. Shit.
I can't remember. But what about that? And then he says whatever, like the person on the train. It's not that, but it's just, he's so imitatable, but in a good way throughout the whole movie. And the movie is just simply put fun. It finds a balance. Like you said with Cabin in the Woods, it doesn't know if it wants to be funny or if it wants to be scary, and the two don't mesh too well together. And I think that's a problem that Peter Jackson has with all his movies. That is one problem I do have with The Lord of the Rings. Like, contrast it with like the way Harry Potter uses humor and stuff like that. Harry Potter can get really funny at times, like genuinely funny. Whereas Lord of the Rings tries to be funny and it comes off a little awkward because the humor isn't necessarily placed well. I think this is just something that Peter Jackson has a problem with.
His way.
And it's also in King Kong a little bit. It wasn't in The Lovely Bone, so he's getting better. Anyway, the movie works best when it's in its horror/thriller mode, where it's like the breakneck speed, and I love Michael J. Fox's character, that he's like, I need to save her, the only way to do it, look away, I gotta do it, and she's like, well no, there might be another way, and he ends up freezing himself to death and in order to save her, and
save who?
Save the girl, because that's who the killer is trying to pick off.
See, I can't remember it at all. I should rewatch it.
Jake Busey is the killer, and he's so damn good.
I can remember that it really shows off, doesn't it? New Zealand landscapes and stuff.
And it's such a like New Zealand's so gorgeous. I mean, that's part of what Lord of the Rings, the draw to Lord of the Rings is it's just so profoundly beautiful country, and seeing it in the real world aspect in the Frighteners, it's no different. It's just gorgeous, and he knows how to shoot his land. Like, I mean, he's good at that. So yeah, I love the movie. I give it 3.5. It's simply put fun.
Unfortunately, I can't really remember too much. I'll just go 2.5. I can't really remember too much. I remember, it was right at the period in the mid-90s where I was really liking Heavenly Creatures a lot.
Heavenly Creatures is great.
And following Peter Jackson, and it was kind of his, you didn't really mention that, it was kind of his first American official breakthrough really into
I think this is the
Hollywood.
movie that got him Lord of the Rings. Like, had he worked solely on, had not done this and only had Heavenly Creatures, I think both Miramax, who started with Lord of the Rings and then it went to New Line, I think they would have had a lot of problem because he didn't make anything commercial. Like, that was a big like blockbuster in terms of doing well with awards and critics, but Heavenly Creatures didn't really make a nickel, whereas the Frighteners did pretty well with critics, but it made a lot of money. It made its money back, and that's what they were looking for.
The thing I can remember, because I saw this in the theater, and the thing I can remember, when you get to the mid-90s, especially at my age, it was kind of like Michael J. Fox felt kind of stale. You can imagine how that feels for someone my age at the time, so I remember kind of like, I went to see it with a friend of mine from high school at the time, because we were both Peter Jackson. I mean, we were huge Bad Taste, Dead Alive. I don't think he had seen Heavenly Creatures. So we were Peter Jackson at the time. I remember when Michael J. Fox, I don't know what he does. He comes to a halt, or he gets out of the car, and he does something where he's like, ugh. He does some kind of goofy, generic, stupid, thing like that. My friend's like, and I kind of agree. I mean, that's, but it's not necessarily his idea.
Well, the ghost walks through him, and that's when he...
No, it was like, I don't know what happened, if he lost control of his car at the beginning of the movie or something, where, doesn't he run over one of those...
Yeah, he goes over the garden gnomes.
Yeah, right, yeah, and he gets out and he goes, ugh. That kind of shit that's just been done over and over. But I mean, it's not a huge thing. In retrospect now, like I said, I don't know if I said it on camera or not, but it might have been off camera. I said that I've been buying some Michael J. Fox things that I've never seen, because it's sad to think in a lot of ways that, I mean, he's not gonna, we're not gonna see any more Michael J. Fox stuff. So, I was like, I saw it in the clearance bin, and I'm like, well, hell, let's do some old school Michael J. Fox. I haven't seen it. To me, it's old, but it's new for me. I mean, I've never seen it.
Your feeling might have been sort of like Robert Downey Jr. kind of thing.
It was. Like, I can admit that, though. I know exactly what my feeling was.
Robert Downey Jr., I dug him, like, in his stuff in the late 80s, early 90s.
But then he was like the...
He was the drug-addled dude, and he was coming out with these kind of like lame movies, and he went on to like Ally McBeal, which is a show I actually kind of like, and he was good on it. But I mean, like, it was just like, I'm done with the down.
That's what it was at the time.
Then Iron Man comes, and he had that thing where it's like, man, how could I ever have turned my back on this dude? This dude is the pimp. And for me, it actually wasn't Iron Man. It was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh.
And it was like, man, this guy, why did anybody ever not give this guy the benefit of the doubt? He is the king of his realm. And I was so happy, like, 2 years later, that Iron Man came out and everybody else jumped on that bandwagon. And it's like, see, he can do it. And I'm so glad that he's still relevant today, because he's a great actor. But I can see how you'd feel that way about Michael J. Fox.
You can understand about them slumps.
Yeah.
Especially because, he's kind of worn out his welcome by that time.
Yeah, exactly.
And me being the age I was, whatever, 20 or 19 or whatever, you can understand.
Yeah, I get it.
But I could watch it. As a matter of fact, I should rewatch it, because I haven't seen it forever. And I'm now out of that Michael J. Fox slump. But I can remember being who did the music? Alan?
I can't remember.
Was it Alan Silvestri?
It might have been, actually. I think you might be right, because the music is really good. It's sort of like a boom, 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 boom. Like, it has it's sort of a fun, bouncy kind of theme, but it also has like the driving horror theme too.
I can just remember just being completely New Zealand landscape,
I also liked John Aston as the old ghost, the old Western ghost.
I love.
I mean, John Aston's always cool, but yeah. So 3.5.
I'll just go 2.5.
Tentative 2.5.
2.5 inching towards 3. Probably 3, but I still there.
And either.
A color cable TV, sorry.
No, it's all good.
What time is it?
It's probably time to get
table
going anyway.
chairs, restroom over here. You can kind of get a broader view of the.
Yeah, it's about time. It's 12 or 3:23.
3:23.
Yeah.